Fujica, a place for budding and aspiring entrepreneurs. I definitely want to thank you for stopping on by to see another video here at the channel. If this is the first time you're stopping by, my name is Fujica and I serve this community as a business mentor, and ultimately I help people start their non-medical home care agencies. So today I want to talk about something that I'm looking back over my channel and I cannot believe I have not talked about creating a care plan. And guys, the care plan is so important. I have talked about it in my licensing course. So if you haven't attended my licensing course, well then look, that's shame on you. In all seriousness, the care plan is such an important document for your home care. So that's something I want to talk today about. Today we are discussing the basic elements of a good care plan. So if that's something that you're interested in, and why wouldn't you be, then stay tuned. So why is the care plan document so important? Well, I love the care plan document because it is an essential document to your business. So I say that in terms of it's vital for training. When you have your caregivers coming on, you can use a caregiver template as a way to train your caregiver in terms of, you know, what are your expectations for that caregiver? So you're letting them know what a care plan looks like. You're reinforcing your expectation that they do not deviate from that care plan as it relates to caring for your clients, as well as when you're onboarding a client to a particular caregiver and vice versa, you're using their particular care plan to let them know the expectation on how to care for that client. And then conversationally, I love that care plan because I get the question a lot in terms of, hey, am I charging every client the same rate of, they're the same rate? And of course the answer is no, but you're using that care plan to substantiate the rate that you are charging them. And so depending on what that client's need is, you're looking at their mobility, you're looking at their nutrition, you're looking at their needs. And based on what kind of care they need, what kind of caregiver you're going to need to care for them, and who you're going to have to hire, and how much that person is going to charge you, right? How much you're going to pay that caregiver to take care of that client, that's going to be an indication of what you're going to need to charge that client in order to find the right caregiver to meet those needs. So it's so important that really a good care plan is, and then obviously it serves as proof of documentation, because remember, in this business, if it's not documented, it did not happen. So again, so important to have a good care plan. It is that foundation of your business. So let's transition over to a sample of a care plan and its elements. So what I'm going to do is kind of do a side-by-side. Initially, I was thinking about doing where I do a screen share with you, but I think for this type of video, I'm actually going to do a side-by-side, so that way we're not lost on me talking through the actual form itself. So I'm going to go ahead and start this portion of the form. So I know 9 steps seems like a lot, but it's really not. So we're going to start with the form basics, and that's just going to be the basics of the client. So just information such as that client's name, are their gender, how old are they, and again, this is customizable, so you may not have this information on your care plan. This is stuff that I have on mine, so if this is stuff that you don't want to have, of course that is completely up to you. Then you may want to have a goal of care. Now you may have came up with that goal of care at the time that they started on service with you, or it could be something that, like what I used to like to do, or what I used to tell my caregivers is, you should really try to have a goal for that day of care. Whether if that person is trying to kind of get up with less and less assistance out of the bed, maybe it is more that they get up without. Maybe it could be coming up with a different degree that they're getting up out of that bed. But it is a true goal that they have for the day. So that is a conversation starter. It's definitely a relationship builder. And it's something to be celebrated as they get closer and closer to that day. Whatever that goal is, it is just a nice touch to have a goal for that day of service. And of course, any other thing that you might want to put just to kind of, just at the top of that form. I just have that space there as other, if there's anything else you want to include there. We're going to move on to the nutrition. So if there's any type of diet, I always like to say if there's any type of allergies this person is aware of, if they, for instance, I've shared that my son is allergic to nuts. I'm allergic to all types of nuts other than peanuts. So any allergies that, especially that caregiver, if they're preparing meals, if there's anything, any allergies that person needs to be aware of, this is a good place to indicate that. But especially if this is a fill-in caregiver, this is a good way for them to know, hey, are you expected to feed this person? Do you need to assist them? Do they want them to bring it to their bedside? Are they coming to the table? Is this something that they expect to, they have a special diet. Maybe they're only on fluids. This is where you could really set that caregiver up for success by knowing what specifically is the expectation as it relates to diet and nutrition for this specific client. The next session that I have here is body mechanics mobility. This is absolutely a help, especially if this person is needing help with getting in and out of bed. Does this person needs help with transferring to the restroom? Does this person need help with transitioning to the shower? Do they need help with you showering them? That type of thing. What is their range of motion? If they do require assistance, is it total assistance? Do they require a bed chair? It's just those types of things. Understanding how much mobility does that client have and how much assistance are they going to need in order to take care of some of these activities of daily living. The next section is a big one. This is the personal care assistance with ADLs and then the oral hygiene. So I kind of have that broken off of section. That's how I do my care plans. I have it broken up into bathing, hair, general, and then of course oral hygiene. And so I have it listed in those areas, so then it makes it easier for that caregiver to kind of check what was done. And then listen, as a tip for you, you could always come in and add times if you want. Add little squares in there. This is why I love using Excel. Of course you can always pencil that in too, or maybe pin that in, but you can just put a nice little square in. That way that caregiver can just enter a time in, or they can initial a time that they perform that task. So anyone coming in after them, or if they make a copy of it, it's just a nice, neat representation in terms of what activities were done for that client for that day. But this is the meat of the activity. What all was done, what ADLs were done for that client for that day, and at what time were those activities done. The next session is toileting. So again, does that person need assistance? Is this something that we're helping them with at their bedside? Is this something that they're doing within their bed? Are we assisting them to the toilet? Just what does that look like? And then of course checking off what is appropriate. I always have a other section just in case it applies, but there's also a note on there. You'll see that I have mine. There's some reports there if there's any type of loss of consciousness, if there's direction there, call the office immediately. If there's any type of fall, if there's any type of injury, so you always want to make sure those types of things that's covered in training, but you also want to make sure that's reiterated in the forms that they're using. So even so that caregiver knows, even this is an emergency situation where you must call 911, sure do that. But make sure that you loop in that office as soon as you can to ensure that all protocol is followed in the way that your processes have been written. So what did I miss? Is there anything that you put in your care plan that you didn't see that I put in mine? I'd love to hear your comments. Remember guys, you can put as much or as little as you want in your care plans, but you want to make sure that everything that you want captured in that document is live and living in your documents. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate that you show me by liking it, and I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't already, hit that bell notification so that you're notified every time I release a new video. That is all I have for you guys today. Stay blessed.